Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the Missing Wolves post-game live stream podcast, whatever it is. And I am shocked that we have two people in here already because midnight on now the 30th of October after a gut-wrenching loss to the Lakers. You guys are braver than I am. I'm your host, Andrew Dukowitz from Zone Coverage. And today we got Nate Alsdurf from Crunch Wears No Pants, the tall Crunch Wears No Pants member. I think that's fair to say. You're the tallest.
I am the tallest. I bring up the height average. I think Jordan's like 6'4", I'm 6'7", so I carry the team.
It's obnoxious covering basketball when you're 5'7" because I am up to everybody's belly button, and everyone. Hopefully, I never go like bald or anything, because if I start to go bald, everyone's gonna know well before me in the Wolves sphere. But
Rob Dillingham is just towering over you, and
Rob Dillingham's a giant next to me.
I know. That's the thing is he's much bigger than he actually looks, but just when he's standing next to Rudy Gobert, he looks like he is 5'4".
He looks like he's a kid next to Rudy Gobert, and then it's funny because I've gotten John Krasinski in a couple of my videos just doing scrum stuff, and the amount of people that are shocked that John is like 5'8" is shocking to me, because I never pictured him as like a 6'5" man, but evidently some people just have thought that John Krasinski all these years is this towering Jim Pete like figure. But Nate, we got basketball to talk about. I mean, I'll kind of throw it over to you. If you want to talk about kind of the last play first, we can do that. If you want to talk about the third, second, and first quarter that seemed like a completely different basketball game, we can go that way too. But what was kind of your biggest takeaway tonight?
My biggest, oh man, there's too many. We are bad. We're bad right now. We are bad. There's no sugarcoating it. I think there's plenty of things you can talk about. I think I'm of two minds. One, the first 10 games of the season don't count. They're similar to preseason. I mean, they obviously do, and it's important to set the tone for the season. We're hungry for takes, just like people were hungry for takes in preseason. The first 10 games do count, but because of the nature of preseason, and we've talked about this on numerous pods, but like, guys are coming into camp in shape. They're like, there's not a lot of roster turnover, so you're not preseason doesn't really matter, and therefore you don't get a lot of run with the starters. So the first handful of games are like preseason games are, where you're just like kind of getting the flow of things, playing competitive basketball. So I'm trying to and again, basketball is a sample size game. So I'm trying to allow that sample size to grow before I crash out too much on certain takes. But that said, the early returns are not great. The defense is bad. Transition is bad. Two of the big things that they were emphasizing going into this season. It is a really hard thing to have a team that's built around Rudy Gobert and be bad at defense. Yeah. If you're bad at defense with Rudy Gobert, what's the point in having Rudy Gobert? And that was just rearing its head all night tonight. It's a struggle to watch. And I think one thing that I mean, we are obviously missing Anthony Edwards. He is he is the team. But I think that's overlooked how much we're missing him on the defensive end too. Everybody thinks about his scoring, but he is on this team. He is your second point of attack defender. Like, you have Jaden, but when you take Ant out of the mix, that shifts everybody up, and it just throws the whole defensive alignment out. And I mean, Ant is an underrated defender. So I just think there are numerous things that result in what we saw tonight. So it's kind of hard to dig down to one thing, but it's tough when you're excited for the season to start and then you see this on-court performance.
Yeah, I'll be completely honest. Like, I thought this team would hit the ground running and be a pretty dominant force at the beginning of the season, just because there wasn't turnover. And when this team did click in the last 3 months of the season and into the postseason, like, they seem to have solved most of their problems. So then it's like, yeah, you just need to get better around the margins and hope for maybe a Jalen Williams sprained ankle and you're in the finals this year. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of this optimism going into the season. And to your credit, or to your point, I mean, this is a game in the past where Nickeil Alexander-Walker would have played quite a few minutes because he's so good at slipping those screens. He's so good at being that point of attack defender. Even when Ant is healthy, like Nickeil was just so good at that. And I think, you know, losing him and then not having Ant and Jalen to fill into that space was really apparent tonight. I mean, Jaden is almost a foot taller than Austin Reeves. It's really hard for him to get small and sneak in between his screen to like help Rudy out in a drop coverage by like staying with him. I think there was some things like I actually thought this was a pretty like really good game from Mike Conley tonight. He started like full court pressing in the third quarter, fourth quarter. He looked really in control offensively. Like this is the Mike Conley we've come to know and love. But this is now the third consecutive game of him playing 25 plus minutes. And I don't know how a human body can continue doing that as an undersized guard. And then on the other side, you know, offensively, this team is scoring enough to win games. It's just
it's the defense,
which is so odd because this team has been built on that defensive identity for, I mean, really since Gobert got traded here. I guess, you know, obviously we are not Chris Finch and we are not like able to fix these things, but like, what would you like, what are your thoughts on like how to fix this defensive issue that they've been dealing with?
I mean, it's beyond me. I think a lot of it does come down to personnel, honestly. I mean, there's some schematic things that you can tweak, but that only gets you so far with the bodies you have. And I think we're just in a really tough point. Like I said, especially honestly, it is a really big thing missing Jalen because of his ability to buckle down on like the better point of the attack ball handlers. And so in a game like this, you're forced to like, there's so much load bearing for Jaden. And then if Jaden comes out, then who are you relying on? Like Dante has to do things that you don't want Dante to have to do.
To your point, Jaden was plus 10 in 41 minutes.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Like,
I mean, he like
minus 11 in the 7 minutes he wasn't playing.
Yeah, like, I know, exactly. It's you're cratering at that point when he's off the court. But like TJ Shannon is kind of unplayable right now on defense. I feel like he is and offense is just it ebbs and flows as it will do with. I understand that there's a learning curve, even though he's an older sophomore, he is still you know, second year player. So and getting first real rotation minutes. So there's going to be some like hiccups that here and there, but defensively he's just kind of out of control. Like I was comparing his defense to Dante's offense a little bit, where Dante like plays over his feet a little bit, where he's a little bit out of control, kind of wild, erratic. And I feel like that's the type of defender that TJ is too, where he's playing aggressive, which is, obviously you want to be aggressive, but like just dumb fouls, like I don't know, just like wildly out of control. And hopefully that kind of, as the season goes on, he's able to pull that in a little bit. But I don't remember.
That's the thing with TJ, right? Like I remember when we drafted him, I did like a revisiting, like look through all of his college stats and stuff, and like he never has been like a particularly great defender. Like at Texas Tech, he was kind of painfully average. At Illinois, he was fine for a Big Ten team that isn't like Ohio State. I mean, even last year he was fine. So I think, you know, he might get over his skis a little bit on defensive, but like I think a lot of us in the media, myself included, like who just penciled him in as like, oh, TJ is going to be able to step into that role. Like it's hard to play defense in the NBA, and if you've never really particularly been excellent at it, like it's even harder. So I do agree with you. There has been just a lot of really weird stuff with him defensively, but he does try hard.
Like, he did. Trying is not the issue.
A lot of calories into it. Like that dude is trying. It
is interesting too. I mean, just with the Nickeil thing, I talked about this on our last pod on Crunch Rose No Pants, shameless plug. But I feel like
you're literally going to, that's literally going to be in the title of the Spotify episode. So like, it's not, if anything, you're plugging it less shamely than I will be.
We're really good. Come come listen to us. No, we're not. But I think largely the loss of Nickeil is overlooked just because of the position, the depth of the team, and the role that he played. But it is huge, like having that player that can do both, because he is a two-way player. Obviously, he skews more defense because the offense with Nickeil would come and go. Like he would be like either like decent to very good, but it did ebb and flow based on the game. Defensively, he was very consistent. You have that now split up into two skill sets between Jalen and TJ, depending on who you're giving those minutes to, and you are splitting those minutes up, generally speaking, when we're healthy. And so it is kind of hard because you have to decide, like, do we want to trade offense for defense, or do we want to trade defense for offense? And that, I think, is one of the things that we talk. Coaching seemed to be a hot button topic on Twitter today. I don't know if you saw, but
it was trending during the game. Chris Finch was the number one trending sports topic on Twitter.
Finch was being massacred on Twitter. Yeah, I was honestly not really on Twitter today. I was like just being productive, and I went for a long run, and I opened Twitter, and I was like seeing tweets out of context, and then I was like, oh wow, there's an actual civil war breaking out. But that is an area where it's like he's got to find that balance, and that what is the right what matchups are the right matchups to deploy one versus the other. What's the minute? How are you divvying up those minutes? That is an area where there's actually like a balance sheet that he has to figure out. But yeah, I mean, I think when the team is built on sort of this, like, you can depend on Nickeil Alexander-Walker and you know what you're getting from him, and then you take that factor out, it throws things out of alignment a lot. And this team requires steadiness. And even when it's something as small as a guy who plays, I don't know, I mean, it's not small, but like 15 to 20 minutes a game, depending, that does change things a lot. And I think we just have to figure it out.
So Godfrey was in our last live stream asking about the Rudy Gobert trade. It is not a good look for the Rudy Gobert trade. Walker Kessler, 18 points, 12 rebounds. Keontae George, one of the picks that we gave up, 29 points, 8 assists. And to make things even worse, Jake LaRavia was drafted by the Wolves, then traded for Walker Kessler. So we could even go another step down the rabbit hole and say the 10 for 11 shooting 37-minute career game of Jake LaRavia is also technically tied to the Rudy Gobert trade. So
and we know if we didn't make that trade, all those things would have happened for the Wolves, and all three would be perennial all-stars for us. No,
Jake LaRavia and starting point guard, shooting guard, and small forward.
Walker Kessler's fighting for his financial life right now, because didn't they decline his option? So he's fighting for a contract now. He's in desperation mode.
I do think Walker Kessler is the perfect example of, like, you're a good player on a bad team, but you're a little bit too good. So, like, why don't you calm out or calm down a little bit, or we'll bench you? Yeah. But yeah, I'd like to ask you a little bit more about the Chris Finch of it all, because I think it deserves to be talked about. I mean, I'll be honest, like, I'm with the team at every practice. Like, I'm at all the games. Like, I have an opinion of Chris Finch that is probably not matching the Twitter heat, but I'd love to get your thoughts on it more. But first, I have ads to read, because just like you guys at Crunch Wears Pants have to pay your mortgages, I also have to pay my mortgage, and these help quite a bit, actually. So thank you, everybody. But first, ads. Well, hello. Thank you, Livestream Andrew. This is Ad Read Andrew. And today we have Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, the presenting sponsor for the Missing Links podcast. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling strives to inspire people to follow their ideas, working with respect and understanding to create a quality, tailored result. Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, located in Blaine and serving in the North Metro area, is here to help you with your building and remodeling needs. I can say personally, thanks to Firehawk Construction and Remodeling, I have a beautiful deck in my backyard, and countless projects that I started, they finished. Get started on your new deck or remodel today by calling Isaac at 763-710-5686. And we're back with another ad read. This time for Pence Homes, the presenting sponsor of Hitting the Hardwood Network. From the best tools and technology to transparency throughout the entire process, Nate Pence and the Pence Homes team is the top choice for buyers, sellers, and is proud to support you and your home ownership goals. Get started today by calling 612-308-1122 or by emailing info@pencehomes.com. All right, Nate. So, what are your general thoughts on kind of the Chris Finch situation? Because, again, I feel like I'm biased because I am around him, and like I think as media, you kind of lose touch a little bit sometimes with like the fans or the media members that aren't around him all the time. But like, what's kind of your impression of his coaching job so far?
So, I mean, I start with saying like he's the greatest coach in franchise history. Like, I think that most people, yeah, exactly. It is technically a fact. Yes. And I think from the opinion side of it, I think largely people would agree just based on what he's achieved. I think there's a contingent the last couple years, specifically last year with the slow start, that we're like just really sick of him early and we're looking for excuses to be the Fire Finch crowd, whatever. And I think it's just, there's a level of impatience to it. And I think I wonder if like how many of those fans understand what coaches do. Because I feel like I hear all these things that they're blaming. It's like they don't understand why things are happening. And so the easy thing is to blame the coach, because you're like, this is the intangible. I can't understand it, so it must be coaching. And a lot of times it has to, there are things that he gets blamed for that have to do with personnel. And like, I'm sorry, that's just not Chris Finch. He is handed the team by Tim Connolly. And if you want to take issue with that, like there are things that Tim Connolly have done that I would disagree with. Extending Rudy Gobert, giving him 3 years, $110 million. Maybe in the moment that made financial sense or whatever. But it is rearing its head right now. I do think that there are some, I think Chris Finch does a good job. I like Chris Finch as a head coach. I do not think the Western Conference Finals are our ceiling. I think that's kind of been a take I've been seeing. But I think that I do think that there are reasons he's not without critiquing. I think any NBA head coach, like I'm not going to sit here and defend him and say he's never done anything wrong. There weren't issues tonight, but I feel like every issue is like, well, fire him. And I'm like, that's such a reactive take, because one, you have to have an idea of who you want to backfill him with. And is that coach better? And two, like the only time I would ever say just fire somebody is if it's an addition by subtraction, where you're like, truly, we are better than where we are with this coach. And I avidly disagree with that take towards Finch. But I do think Finch's number one skill set is like, he is good schematically. Yeah. There are coaches better in the NBA at schematics and like their X's and O's. Finch is good at it, but Finch's superpower is enablement, like enabling players to be in the right position to succeed. I actually had an opportunity to listen to Finch talk to like a work event a month or two ago. And he talked a lot about like finding guys' strengths and their weaknesses, limiting their weaknesses, highlighting their strengths. So putting guys in position that highlight those strengths. And I feel like that's why at every level, right? When he was in the G League, when he was overseas, he's always been handed this roster that there's a limitation on what you can do. You just have to make do with who you have. And I feel like that is his superpower, is getting the best version out of each player that he can.
I completely agree. I just want to add, like, his ability to get buy-in is I mean, I get to hang out with Cheryl Reeve. Obviously, she's probably the top of the get buy-in crowd, because like everyone would probably die for that woman that plays for her. Like, Finch is a close second. Like, to get Anthony Edwards to buy in, to get Jaden to continuously buy in every year despite his role never really changing, to get Julius to buy in with everything happening last year, like to get Rob still engaged after essentially being benched an entire year. Like, you're right, his superpower is like getting the best out of people and then like getting them to compete. But I continue.
Yeah, I think like oftentimes and again, he's not without critique, but I just see all of these takes and I'm watching the game and I'm like, these guys are just being like, these guys are bad right now. Like, I don't think any coach could, I mean, who knows, but like, I don't think any coach could be like improving some of our offensive play when Rudy Gobert is out there biffing putbacks and not catching the ball under the hoop, or just like Rudy Gobert just aging out of the ability to play defense. And the truth is like we have one point guard on this team, one dependable point guard on this team, and one dependable center, like true center and true point guard. And that was our issue last year too. Yep. And those two like cogs in the machine are now a year older and are obviously going to regress. And so to me, that's much more of a Tim Connolly thing. And I had that issue in the offseason too. I was like, I like the Juan Berenjay pick. Like I like that we signed Bones. We, as you know, we love Bones.
You guys do love Bones Highland. It is obnoxious how far back this goes, but like
it really does. It's so funny that it turned into a full contract. And Bones is like, it's been spotty, but like he's had some
fine
nice plays. Yeah, he is a fine NBA player, and that's what we were hoping for when you have a guy like that on a minimum contract. But my issue was like we need a Monte Morris and a like I don't know who throw out any dependable vet minimum guy like center that can play like 15 minutes a game, because I love Nas, I love Julius, but those are not your backup centers, and like they can do it in a pinch, and we do it, but you need a guy who can get boards, because we are getting clean, like the glass is getting cleaned by whoever we're playing. And I mean, it's like I said, like defensively, second chance points, like there's just so many issues that stem on both sides of the roster. And it's not new. I don't know. Yeah. Like I just don't know how people look at this and they're like, it's right there. Like it's the roster construction. I don't know what to tell you.
It's the Rudy situation puts him in such a hard spot, because like statistically his numbers when he's involved in the offense are fine. Like he's not a net negative when he's actually involved and gets 10 shots and like is feeling like he's in a part of it. It's just one of those 10 shots, he is going to take it with both hands and throw it 7 feet into the air, and it's going to go to the 9th row, and it's going to look really bad. And I feel like when he does that early in the game, just everyone stops passing to him.
They look him off.
And then he's just a traffic cone in the offense because no one's looking for him. And like credit to Rob Dillingham for coming in and like hitting him on a lob, trying to get him on a pocket pass and like get him back engaged. Because like when they're not using him at all on offense, like it is just human nature to not try as hard on defense, especially like I'm not saying try as hard as in like, oh, his effort level isn't there, but it's like when you haven't touched the ball in like 13 real minutes of basketball, like that sucks. Like,
when
like no human can go 45 minutes of real time without even touching the ball. And then just be like, yeah, I'm going to play the best like switch defense on Austin Reeves that has ever been played. Like, it's just, you gotta involve everyone. And I feel like every year, this is something at the beginning of the year. I mean, since Rudy got here in that first D'Lo year to the first Western Conference Finals last year, like every year it's a couple weeks or a month before people are like, oh yeah, we have to actually like pass it to this guy so that like he's engaged and feeling okay. And then like we get production from those passes, and then everyone else is in a good mood and vibes are high. But it is kind of like Groundhog's Day, where it's every year the beginning of the season we're talking about Rudy Gobert, and then by March we're not talking about Rudy Gobert, and then the playoffs start and we're talking about Rudy Gobert again. I don't know how to fix it. Like,
I know.
It's going to be really hard to trade a 34-year-old center with 3 years left on his deal. And I don't know what the market is for that. And I'll be honest, like the Wolves, when Rudy is off the court, have the worst defense in the NBA. And they're 6 points worse than last year's Wizards, who had the worst defense in the NBA. Like if you just trade Rudy, that doesn't
No.
Like, it doesn't fix it.
Yeah, and I mean, there isn't an easy solve. I think Tim Connolly would have made a decision by now if there was. You kind of have to, like, he is at the very end of the day, even with a bad defense, he is a floor raiser, just because of how cataclysmic the defense is without him. But I just, I don't know. I don't know what the solve is there. My solve was have another center, have another center on the roster. But yeah, and like the Yohan thing, like I see people calling for it on Twitter and stuff, and like I understand that it's the unknown, but we do have to remember, one, like you said before, like Chris Finch sees these guys in practice every day. He knows their development. He knows if they're ready to deploy in meaningful minutes, because that's the thing, is you also don't want to crater a winnable game because you're just trying to develop in that moment. Like there are times where you can do that. But the guy learned how to play basketball 5 years ago, was it?
He's 18. He learned when he was 15. 3 years ago.
So 3 years ago. We do really have to remember that. Like,
started basketball because he grew out of his soccer cleats. He's such a crazy story.
He's an athlete. At the end of the day, he's an athlete, and you have to like refine those things into the game of basketball at the highest level. Like, he was not coming from the highest level. But anyway, I like to see. I would like to see that at some point throughout the season. But again, 4 or 5 games in, where you're just trying to like get the flow down.
For me, I mean, the example I always use is Rob, because Rob, I've gotten to talk to him quite a bit over the last couple of years. Like, he's just a really good kid. Like, he's a really good dude. But like at the same time, it's like he's 19, and I'm willing to promise you, like, you know, Pablo Prigioni was glued to that guy. All practice, every practice of last year, it was Pablo Prigioni being Rob Dillingham's shadow. And Pablo is the Argentinian team's national coach for FIBA. He is a 25-year Euroball and NBA veteran. Like, this dude, all he does is point guard. Like, this guy is a guru. Like, the Knicks offered him a head coaching interview, and he's not even the head assistant here. Like, that's what he's thought as. And if that guy is saying, hey, Rob isn't ready, like, that's who Finch is listening to. Like, I don't think Finch is sitting there in practice and seeing Rob throw it out of bounds and be like, not going to play this guy. I mean, there's so much more of it that goes into it. And like, Finch really relies on these like developmental coaches, because like, that's who's with these players all the time. Like, for Yohan, it's Kevin Hansen, going to be with him all season, every practice. He'll be his shadow. And I guarantee if Finch is having a meeting with him like once every week of like, how's Yohan doing? And if Kevin Hansen's like, yeah, not great, we're not going to see Yohan, because like, why would you put a guy out there to just fail? Which, you know, Cole says, look at Josh, which I agree. Like, Josh he's been unbelievable for the Celtics. I think it's hard with guys like Josh, because when he got chances here in Minnesota, Josh Minot, that is, like, he didn't particularly do well. Like, his defense was not very good. He didn't rebound. Like, the 11 rebounds he had tonight is like triple his career high. Like, he was
a rim hunter when he was with us. He was always going for highlight dunks, and that was just.
And I think part of that is Boston, you know, has an opportunity for him. Tatum isn't playing. They can throw Josh out there for 20 minutes. And the other part of it is like, sometimes these guys need a little bit of a wake-up call of like, hey, your option isn't going to get picked up. And then, I mean, Josh knows that if he didn't have a good camp and a good season, his career's over. Like, that's just how it is in the NBA. And it's different when you're playing for your career versus, you know, kind of sitting on a bench being like, why am I not getting minutes?
For the 5 to 8 minute role on, you know, the last guy off the bench for the Wolves.
I mean, what I would just add is like, again, I feel like most people like in the room that get to talk to Finch and like do this type of stuff, like, there is just some general bias, because like, Finch is a really good dude. He's very pleasant to talk to. Like, you can say you're as objectable as humanly possible. It's just not feasible that you could sit here and like put up that stone wall. But what I would say is like, Jaden McDaniels is like a Finch development story. The fact that Jaden's scoring 30 tonight, like we all saw that guy in 2020. No one ever thought he would score 30 other than like his wife, him, and maybe his mom. Like that dude's an offensive piece now. Like Naz Reid is primarily, yes, he was drafted by Ryan Saunders and Rosas, but he's primarily a Finch story of like slowly giving him more and more to his roles. Like he does have these hits. It's just really hard to develop young players, especially in the league now where, you know, everybody wants them to play right away and be successful right away. I don't know what Rob is going to be, but we're probably not going to find out what he is this year. Like we might get a better idea, but we probably won't know until he's 4 or 5 years into his career if this was a success or a failure.
Right. Yeah, I just hitting on the Josh thing once too. I would like to have that conversation further than 5 games into the season too. Because like, and I'm not like, there's no bashing. Like he's had some really good performances, but it is such a small sample size and the season is so long. I want to see that extrapolated over because he did have a couple like pretty solid games for us, and then they tapered out. Then he just came in and was a negative 15 for us. So yeah, I'm just curious to see what we're talking about with Josh Mina at the end of the year. It could be that he was this unlocked force that we just didn't know. But I don't know. I have my doubts just from what I saw during his time with us.
Like what I'll say is like Josh is an awesome dude. Like I am rooting for that guy. Did a charity event with him, watched him single-handedly carry in like 50 cribs to like a single mother's daycare center. Like he didn't have to do that. He could have just waited for the trolley, carried in one, took a picture and left. Didn't. Carried in 50 of those things. Like he was sweating at the end of it. Same with Luka Garza, like super good kid. Like I am pulling for them to be successful, but I
love both those dudes. Yeah.
Go, Nate.
I was just saying, like, I was a lawnmower proponent. I loved the lawnmower. And Luka Garza, I was a self-proclaimed Luka Garza stan, mostly because like I saw him dismantle the Gophers when he was on Iowa. And I did not think he was going to play his way into a two-way contract even. So I was just rooting for that guy from the get-go. But so it is cool to see those guys actually get their opportunity. I am obviously rooting for them, but I don't know that those would have been opportunities with us.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I think at a certain point, like it just gets stale. It's kind of like the Leonard Miller this year, right? Where like,
exactly,
I would not be surprised if Leonard Miller after this season doesn't get his option get picked up. And then he goes to like, I don't know, Brooklyn and is putting up 15 points and 8 rebounds a game because he is talented. It's just, there are other things that at this point in his life are probably preventing him from really getting that chance. I would say thank you, Derek, Godfrey, and Vincent for your kind words. And Cole, I love having you in the chat. So keep chatting because that's what we're here for. We're a therapy session, and we're also, trying to do the best we can to talk people off the ledge. But Finch, I mean, what I would say is like, unless this goes really pear-shaped where they are like 6-14 through 20 games, like the team still loves him. The locker room still has him. He challenged Jaden publicly after the Denver game, and look at what Jaden did tonight. Like the guy still has the locker room. Ownership still likes him. Like he's not going anywhere unless something crazy negative happens, which if that's the case, like I would argue you should be rooting for very soul-crushing losses so that he can get replaced. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of those soul-crushing losses either, because like this team does have a lot of pride, which that's what I wanted to ask you about next, Nate, is just, to be down 20 and come back and almost win it. I mean, that has to give you some hope for when this thing clicks, what they can become.
Yeah. I mean, it's as much as we talked about the Nickeil Alexander-Walker shift and then there's the continuity thing. And I think it's somewhere in between. I think people were really high on the continuity. Obviously that was the buzzword of the offseason. And then, how bad it's been to start. We're going to find ourselves somewhere in the middle ground. We know this team. We know the tendencies. We know that there are even tendencies of taking the off nights against teams that you're not expecting to be that great, and that could have been a part of tonight even. Defensively, like an effort thing, where you're like, okay, everybody's out but Austin Reeves, and he's been on a heater, but like it's a math problem if you don't have anyone else to score with just Austin Reeves. But I think there's a pride mentality, but I just think that there's an element of like, you just got to find your flow. And we know this team's floor should not logically be a 6-20 team or 6-14 team to start the year. You know, anything can happen. I'm not going to make any promises. Ant's injured, and like, we don't know specifically what his timeline is. Like, if he's actually going to be back, what is it, like 8 games or something that he's supposed to be out?
Yeah.
So that could change things too. But I think last year, even though it was a big roster change up, totally understand. We didn't have that, but it sometimes just takes not half a season, like a quarter season, a third of a season to really click with the guys, and then you start humming. And I think that those guys have earned my patience for that. And it sucks. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say like it's fun to watch games like tonight and the first Lakers game and the Pacers like, I don't know, like even that game, it was just a pain in the ass to watch. But
even the Portland game was pretty annoying at times.
But at least with Portland, like the Crunch Wears No Pants crew has been very high on Portland. Like, I think we've all collectively been like, I think they're going to be like an 8 seed, maybe 7, depending on if they really catch fire. But like, I think they're going to be actually good. And so to me, that was more of like they just play their pants off. They're a high effort team, and they're kind of fun. So, and it's game 1, so like anything can happen. Game 1.
I mean, I'll be honest. Like, Mike was talking about it after the game of just like, this is the time of the season where, you know, everyone thinks they have a shot at the playoffs. Everyone's playing hard. He kind of said like, we're obviously doing some things that we have to fix, but like, we know who we are, and this group come February is going to be fine because like, we're going to get it figured out. And that's probably the most realistic, where this team February and March is looking really good, and they're looking like they can make a deep playoff run. And then it's just, you know, back to square one of like, how far can Anthony Edwards with this current roster take them? But I think you're right. Like, it is important to acknowledge that like, it is frustrating at times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's not fun to watch the clunky part of the season. And like I said, I try to reframe it a little bit. They count towards your record. These games matter. But you do need to like, just take it with a little bit of grain of salt and remember how truly long the NBA season is, and how, like, I don't know, they could go on a 10-game winning streak, and then you're like, oh yeah, why were we crashing out about them being 2-3? You know, it's just for your own mental health. Like, we try to remember and just have fun. Like, I know it's really hard when you're losing, but like, try to enjoy basketball. Like, I don't know.
There's enough things going on in the world that aren't fun. So like, let's just have
plenty
fun.
of bad things happening. Try to have fun watching a game.
All right, Nate. Well, I appreciate you coming in. We had 300 people hop in here with us at some point in time at past midnight on a Wednesday morning, which is, I will always be shocked by how faithful Minnesota sports fans are, despite nothing but heartbreak. But Nate, I appreciate you coming on. Just like last time, anytime you're on the pod, I want to give you space though. Anything you want to shout out, anything you want to promote, where can people find you? The floor is yours.
I don't know if we have anything to promote. I'm probably missing stuff, but yeah, you can find our podcast, Crunch Wears No Pants. We're on all the streaming platforms, at No Pants Crunch on all the social medias, and then I'm at Talsdurf, TALLSDURF, on all the social medias. Find us. We mostly post stupid memes, and they're a blast. So try to have fun with us online. We love it.
They were posting Bones Highland memes, I think, before Bones Highland even knew that he was going to be a meme, which is impressive that they were that far ahead of the curve. Nate, I appreciate
we were early on Vit Krejci too. I don't know if you remember when the Wolves had Vit Krejci a couple of years ago at the beginning of the season. There's been a couple really weird signings that we've been early on for no reason, like dirt at the wall type situations.
Were you guys doing this when Mitch Creek was on the team? The Australian with the wolf tattoo? That seems like right up your alley.
The Wolves always do the like yard sale or whatever where they clean out like the
Yeah.
old jerseys, and it's mostly practice unis. But like I missed out on getting like a used game used like signed Mitch Creek from like summer league or whatever jersey that I wanted so bad. It's just incredible lore.
Mitch Creek can't have a big Twitter following. I bet if you DM'd him, he'd send you one.
Maybe international. I don't know. He might have a big. Isn't he? He's Australian, right?
He did have a accomplished Australia basketball.
Yeah, I bet he's. Yeah, I bet he's big.
Maybe he has some people, but all right, that is the Mitch Creek portion of this show. Nate, again, I appreciate you coming on, man. For everyone else, we'll be live after every game. If you came into this late, it does drop as a podcast anywhere you get your podcasts at 7 a.m. That would be today now, Thursday morning, and it lives on in infamy on YouTube and X forever. So if you want to watch us and you came in late, it'll be there. But thanks everyone for tuning in.